What's up everybody and welcome back to Retro Gamer Gen X's Retro Gaming channel. In today's video I got a special one for you guys. We're going to be unboxing the Magnavox Odyssey 2 and testing it out. Now if you guys recall, I did get this Odyssey 2 a couple weeks ago, but I did not have a game for it to be able to test it. Well, I did find a game for it, and it's the actual pack-in game that actually came with this, so it kind of completes this whole box set. So we're going to go ahead and unbox this, do a quick modification to be able to get it hooked up to the TV here and test it out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, guys. Alright guys, so here's the Odyssey 2 box. As you can see, now it's pretty big, so I don't know if it fits all the way in the frame. It kind of does, but as you can see, we're going to go ahead and open it up. And there is the boxed Odyssey, all in the cellophane and in the styrofoam still. And then I have the packing cart right here, which has that Speedway, Spin Out, and Cybermorph or something like that on that cartridge. So let me go ahead and get this all unpacked out of the box here and get it laid out on the table. So as you guys can see here, we got the Magnavox Odyssey unpacked, so we're good to go. Now this is the first version of the Magnavox Odyssey. As you can tell, it has the Magnavox label up above the power switch. It does not have the raised Odyssey 2 logo, and it also has the DB9 joysticks and not attached to the motherboard. So this makes it essentially the first model that was released, and it has this flunky little RF proprietary cable from Magnavox here as well. As you guys can see, definitely a lot different than our standard RCA jack RF. So we're gonna go ahead and open this thing up, get this switched out so I can get it onto a TV to test it. So, oh, and here's the cartridge here that I got as well. And this is the one with the Speedway, Spin Out, Crypto Logic. That's what it's called, Crypto Logic. So hopefully once we get this cable in, that will work. Now as you guys can see, I've done a lot of RF mods or AV mods on Atari 2600, so I got plenty of these RF cables from the old Atari, so I'm just going to use this. It has an RCA jack coming out of the RF modulator inside, so we can just plug this in, and then we would have this plug to be able to plug into my RF adapter that goes into the VCR so we can get composite video. So let's go ahead and get this started here, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and flip it over, and really we have just 3 1/4-inch screw bolts, whatever, on the end of this. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and lift it up now. It should just come right off, and it does. So just like all these old video game consoles, guys, it has the RF shield all the way around the motherboard, but this is the area we're going to be working on here. We're going to go ahead and take this old cable off, which has another 1/4-inch screw here. Get that taken off. Yeah, that thing being pinched in here for so many years definitely probably has a nice little leak in it. Go ahead and get that disconnected here, where there is not much room in here. Get that pulled out, but there we go. As you can see, it's just a regular RCA cable with this stupid, really weird Magnavox proprietary RF end or jack on the end there. So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that. I do need this little clamp though off of it, so we can put that onto the Atari cable. All right, here's the Atari cable. And we'll go ahead I'll just stick that bad boy right in here. There we go, that should work just fine. And where's that little clamp? So they had this kind of spun around a little bit like this. So I'm going to do the same thing. And then we'll put this on. And screw that back down. Now, as you guys can see, you have to open it up to change your channel. So we have it on channel 3, but it could go to channel 4 as well. So that's one thing here, but we're going to keep it on channel 3. And so I got this screwed in, but I did want to tell you this. If you guys are unscrewing and screwing in screws from these old game systems, make sure that before you screw them in, you go the opposite way and then kind of try to turn it the right way. And if it catches, and it's not too hard to screw in, then you know you got it right. If not, then back it back up and try to get the same, basically go into the same threads that it went in before, because these are really brittle and really old and they can crack and break, and you just don't want that to happen. So let's go ahead and get the cover put back on. Now, I know you guys are going to be like, but what about the capacitors, and what about this, and what about that? Honestly, guys, that's something I'm going to be doing in the future to this system if it works right now, is I'll be recapping it and everything. But for right now, we are just strictly testing this thing to see if it will work. Essentially just a smoke test. And you guys can see how I put these screws in. So I put them in the hole, and I kind of back out until you feel it kind of click, and then I go in. And it's so easy to screw in then. You don't want to try to re-thread these because, like I said, they're really brittle and can crack. All right, so now we have your standard Atari RF RCA jack on the end of this, so we can go ahead and plug it into the TV or into the VCR here. So I'm going to do that off camera. All right, so we got that bad boy plugged in, so we're good to go there. Now is this sketchy thing. So I didn't realize this when I first did my my first video on this when I got it. But if you guys look, this is the original Odyssey AC adapter, but it's got electrical tape around it because I think it's been dropped and it actually cracked open, so it's taped together. Yeah, fun times. And then also the jack has been spliced or something and been taped together as well, so that is just lovely. But I think it'll end up working. I did test it. It does have the 12 volts AC coming out, so I think it's going to work okay. Let's cross our fingers and hope. So let's go ahead and get this thing plugged in as well. And that just goes in the back there. And I'm going to get one of these controllers plugged in. Now, the weird thing about the Odyssey, unlike the Atari guys, is that the right-hand control is the first player and left-hand control is the second player. It's a little bit different. This is the Odyssey cartridge here, if you guys have ever seen one. Got the little handle so you can pull it out. It also has this protective thing. It's actually kind of well made, I think. Kind of like the way these are made compared to the Atari games. But just going to get that slid in. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get some power on this thing here. I got to plug this in. All right. So first test, let's give it a shot here. And look at that, guys. It started right up. Wow. Now, it definitely has some ghosting, so I'm assuming it needs a good recap. That should probably clear that ghosting up. But let's go ahead and give this thing a try. So we'll try Speedway first, which is the first game. Skill level 1. And let's give it a shot. And just like I suspected, these controllers are junk. They are trash. Wow. They definitely need some tender loving care here. They are just not working very well. Yeah, that's kind of horrid. Let's see. So it looks like we're gonna have to tear these joysticks down. Yeah, they're just horrible. So this is gonna be fun. This is definitely gonna be a repair we're gonna have to do. It looks like there's tape underneath this too. So I wonder, has these been open? Have somebody been in here? Let me try the other joystick. Let's turn it off. And let's try the other joystick here and see if it works any better. You figure you got 2 joysticks. One would probably work better than the other. Man, I'm just amazed that this thing works as well as it does. Okay, let's give it a shot here. Yeah, this one is probably just as bad, it looks like. Oh, these joysticks are horrible. Wow. Come on, go. Go forward. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we definitely need to work on the joysticks here. Yeah. So, let's go ahead and get this thing powered off, get this joystick open, and see what all is inside of this. I've never torn apart an Odyssey joystick before, so let's give that a shot. Alright guys, we're going to tear into the one that's got this tape on the bottom and see what this thing looks like inside. Looks like just 2 screws holding it together. And it opens it up. And yeah, definitely a different type of concept here. So I'm thinking that these 2 are probably up, these 2 are left and right, these 2 down here are down. And oh wow. Wow. The way that works is real cheesy, guys. I mean, that's about as simple as a joystick can get. So these are just little pieces of metal that are up, and there's probably contact underneath them, and this piece comes all the way down and makes contact with them to go left, right, up, down. Wow, that's real cheesy. Okay, well, we're gonna have to get inside of this and try to clean these up to try to get this controller working right. So, pop that off. Now, what I could do also, guys, is I could use an Atari joystick. Now, they're not compatible with each other, so the pinouts on these are different, even though it's still the same DB9 connector. The pinouts are definitely different on these, so just so you guys know that. So if we do go the Atari route, I would have to wire the Atari controller internally to match the pinout on this. But that's something if we can't get this thing going here. Now I'm assuming they probably got this tape because it's broken or something. I don't know what's going on. And this is going to have to come off because we're going to have to pull this off. Probably pull this off to get this all out. Be able to access this. So yeah, that's going to be fun. Especially trying to get this off. Definitely going to need some pliers for that. I wish I could just lift this film up. And it definitely still has looks pretty good actually. Is this all the way up like it's supposed to be? Yeah, there's a little notch that goes into. All right, guys. Well, let me go get some more tools. I didn't expect I would need vice grips and pliers and all that other stuff. But let me go ahead and get those tools and I'll be back. So what I got here is some vice grips. So I'm going to put these on the bottom here, just to hold on to the joystick shaft, like so. And take some other pliers. I think it's loose enough now. Nope. Try it again. I don't want to make it too tight because I don't want to mar it. I guess I could put some cloth or something around it. But whatever. There we go. That little piece is off. Then it has this like retaining clip on here we got to take off. Which is going to be a complete pain in the butt to get off. Well, maybe not. It's actually pretty easy. Alright. And then this thing is spring loaded, so watch out. And we got this little disc here, the spring, and then this thing, which I'm assuming is what makes the contact with the switches. Yes, sir. So what happens is the inside of this pushes down on the direction on this disc and it hits the switch. All right. That being said, I don't have to take the shaft out. I'll take this printed circuit board out though. And this is what we got, guys. So here is the motherboard, or the board for the joystick. Very interesting there. All right, so what we got to do is clean this up. But that definitely looks like something's been spilt on it. It has liquid, you can tell. Something's definitely been spilt on it. That's probably why it doesn't work. So, now I don't know if you guys can see this, but if you look in here, try to get you a view of it. I don't know if I can. But if you can see inside of one of these switches, there's a little contact in the middle, and so when it pushes down, it makes contact. So what we're gonna check all these, make sure there's no cold solder joints. Maybe I'll reflow these just to make sure, and clean up the contact cleaner, deoxit it, whatnot, inside of these. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Now this is just a Mylar film to kind of protect it, and it definitely had something spilt on it once upon a time. So that's probably why they don't work anymore. So now we're going to go ahead and just reflow all these solder joints on here, just to make sure everything is good. So we got that all cleaned up and it looks like it's ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and test it with the multimeter here and see how it turns out. But honestly, I think, guys, it's going to turn out pretty good here from what I'm seeing. I don't know though, we'll see. Looks like some of these contacts are still They had so much green crust on them, you could actually see it on top of the contact. It was kind of weird. Especially the button, the actual button. Now we'll let that dry here. All right, so it looks like that's all dried up. So let me go ahead and test this a little bit here. Put them into continuity mode. First thing I want to test is just ground. Make sure they're all grounded out. I think this first pin is ground. I could be wrong. There's this pin. There we go. And these are all ground. So it looks like we got good ground, so that's good. So if this is ground, pin 1 should be probably yep. And pin 2. Pin 3. Pin 4. Pin 5. So it looks like we are good. So it looks like it's all getting good continuity now. Now let's put this thing back together and see if it'll work a little bit better now. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and get this all put back together. So this went in first, the little board there. And this Mylar is just worn out. This is as clean as it's going to get. It's just worn out. And I'm wondering, with the holes on the buttons, if that's a good thing or not. But we'll give it a try here. Why not? All right, now that that's all put in place, grab the rest of the junk here. Now what we're gonna have to do with this thing, guys, is we're gonna have to flatten this back out to get this to seat back into that little notch. That should do it. All right, so it goes in like this, guys. So this goes in like this, sets down into the hole there. The spring then goes inside of this ridge that's inside of there. And then this goes on top. Sort of like that. And we put this dilly doo hickey in. It goes into the little notch there, which I think it's in. I need to double check here, guys. Yep, it's in there. So there we go. That's all hooked back up. Get the cable here. All right. Get this little spray contact cleaner too. Well, let's see if it did anything. It feels better. It feels like it's making contact and stuff now, guys. I can actually like hear it, like, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it feels like it's making contact now, not just sitting there and doing nothing. So let me get everything hooked back up with the Odyssey here. Now let's see, guys, if this thing works. So I got the controller all back together, got everything all hooked up, got it running over to my capture card, OBS and all that. So yeah, let's go ahead and give this a shot and see if it works. So we're gonna turn it on. We'll do the same thing we did before. We're gonna go to Speedway and this, and let's give it a shot here. Yes, it flipping works, guys. It works. Look at that. And I can tell now it's got, like, you can feel it in the controls that it's making contact with those metal things. So between loose solder joints and it just being really dirty, man, it works. Let's see if the button works though. Let's reset, and we'll go to what is this thing called? Spin Out, I think is the name of this game. Let's see if it works. Yep, the button works because I'm going fast. See, if you let go of the button, you go slow. If you hit the button, you go fast. So, looks like it's working, guys. That is amazing. So, really, the last thing I really got to test out on this thing is the keyboard, guys. So, the other controller, I'm just going to do off camera. You guys saw how I did that. So, I'm going to fix this one all up too. But let's test the keyboard too. So we'll go into that, what is that called? Crypto Logic is the name of that game. So let's go ahead and test out the keyboard, see if everything works. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That looks good. Clear works. Plus, minus, times, divide equals yes, no. And enter. And that works. Oops. Let's go back here. All right. And then QUERT. That all works. That looks good. That looks good. The whole keyboard works too, guys. That's flipping amazing. I love it. So, fully functioning Odyssey 2 system here. I just got to put this back on. Which, let me see if I can just pop it on real quick. Yeah, it looks good. I'll probably put some glue on it. It's not loose or anything, I don't think. I think it's okay. Oh, now I see what somebody did. They pushed on this or probably stepped on it because I can feel it trying to come out the bottom. So that's why there's tape here, guys. That sucks. But this one here isn't broken. So this still needs a little refurbishment. Maybe I'll get in there and see what's cracked and fix it with some super glue or epoxy or something. We'll have to see. But yeah, totally fully functioning Odyssey 2. Wow, that's amazing, guys. So that brings us to the end of the episode here, guys. So I'm so glad I got this Odyssey 2 up and running, and I'm glad you guys can join me along on the adventure. So, but I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I just wanted to say thanks to all my subscribers, all my viewers, everybody that helps support the channel. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then hit a like too. Also hit that notification bell. That way you get notifications every time I drop new content like this. I'm always coming up with some retro goodness. So also, if you'd like to help support the channel, I do have super thanks enabled as well now. So you can leave a super thanks. And what that'll do is it'll pin your comment to the top of my comment section, and it'll be in a different color so everybody will see that you're a super thanks person. And I'll definitely shout you out and put you in a credit roll and that kind of thing in my next video coming up. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out here. You guys have a great one. Peace out, y'all.
Game over, man. It's game over.